Okay, I went to the grocery store and I got things to make dinner for myself. So I thought this is like actually what I should be recording a lot of the time is like the fun stuff and the cute stuff and things that I'm navigating, like being in Portugal and being single and being by myself. And it's 2:22 today. So I thought, why not take myself on a little date here, literally here in my kitchen. I went to the grocery store. I got some groceries and I thought I would first show you everything I bought. It's some of my stuff for a few days, but also for tonight. And then I am tonight doing a workshop. Hopefully I'm not cutting off my head. I think it's probably fine. Maybe I should like, I don't know. This is so weird to not see yourself when you're doing things. Honestly, like in a Zoom, doing a podcast recording, it's kind of easier because you see what you're recording. So it's like, if you have a booger in your nose, like I'm pretty sure I did the lesson I recorded. I'm gonna show you what I got first. Cheers. And actually maybe I'll give myself a little guinea fill first. This is everything I bought today. Let's just maybe I should move this over. It's probably really loud and annoying, but okay. First up on top, eggies for my week. I've done like eggs almost every day. And then fresh bread because duh. I've ate so much bread. Like I can't even tell you, like loaves and loaves and loaves of bread. I probably eat 2 loaves of bread a week. Like even just like bread and olive oil with salt and pepper. That's like a snack. Love it. And almond milk. Feta. That's for tonight. The most giant red pepper ever. Oh, these are really yummy. They're like little seltzer waters, basically, but they're berry, but subtle. They're like not sweet. I love them. Greek yogurt. More wine. I was really excited because I was so sure this one was sulfate free because I couldn't see. And then, yeah, no. But it says this joyful, low alcohol wine should be drunk at any given moment and in the best of company, which I think is so cute. This is why, if you don't know, hot air balloons have been like my, I guess, a sign for me. And sometimes I go back and forth on it because it was connected to an ex-partner of mine. But then what's wild is that I have like multiple times now in this breakup and the breakup we had before we broke up twice. I have asked for different signs, other ones. I have a handful of significant signs, but this one I really think is mine. And when I reflect back on it, this was my idea. So like a lot of things in relationships, I think we bring our perspective or our thoughts and then we attach them to the person that we're with. And so I've decided to claim this one back for myself. And it's shown up for me a million times. So another bottle of wine. Chickpeas. Don't love canned chickpeas, but that's all I could find at the little grocery store that I went to. Some beets. Also don't love canned pesto, but this one actually seemed really good. And I was like reading the ingredients as best I could. And it's predominantly basil and sunflower oil, which is sunflower oil, but it's not the worst. So good. Pasta. This pasta is so good. I'm going to do pasta tonight. A cucumber. And this cucumber is so strange to me because it's got all these little bumpies. So kind of like a pickle almost, like an almost pickle cucumber. That's what I'm thinking it might be. So just for like salads and stuff. Coffee, which I need to add to my jar. My little grape tomatoes that I'm going to use for dinner tonight. And a red onion. So that's my little grocery haul. Everything I bought. And now, actually, I should have done this while I was talking. This doesn't take very long. So I'm gonna make pasta. This wine is really yummy. It's also not sulfate free, which is unfortunate. I feel like I've only found, I think, only 2 bottles of sulfate free wine. And I keep meaning to buy this, I don't know what you would call it, like an additive, but that sounds bad because it actually removes, like it takes away the sulfate. Now my 36-year-old self gets really bad headaches with wine if I have more than like 2 glasses, which, I mean, do I need to have more than 2 glasses of wine? Probably not. But even with 2, sometimes I feel like it's like this little like, oh, I don't know. And it sucks because I swear I was talking with somebody not that long ago who got headaches from wine, and now I get headaches from wine. At that time, I really did not notice it, and now I do pretty regularly. So, annoying. Gonna need butter. I'm gonna need bread just cause. What am I gonna make? I'm gonna do pasta. I think I will do actually a little bit of feta. Pasta, chickpeas, peppers, onion, pesto. I don't need beets today. I feel like I should probably talk. I'm not a professional chef and nobody is interested in what I'm cooking or how I'm cooking. That's not my skill set. I'm kind of in a strange space today. I thought I was going to get a lot more done, and I didn't actually. So I'm trying to just let that happen, not be self-critical as much as possible. I should have got mushrooms. I would have loved to add mushrooms. But it is what it is, and it really is not a big deal. I don't know why I get very like in my head about things I should be or shouldn't be doing, and it's so crazy because I know that that's one of the things I'm working through. And now here I am starting a new for fun project, and my perfectionism is full-fledged and basically telling me that I'm already doing a shitty job, which is crazy because it's not being graded. None of my life is being graded by anyone but me. I have clients, obviously, that want me to show up for them and do a good job for them, but I do always. I have my own business. I don't need to, like, I don't know. It's a very interesting thing, but I'm always in this headspace of not doing enough. I'm never doing enough. I'm always behind. I've worked through a lot of that shit, but every so often it still very much pops off, and it really frustrates me, truthfully, because it comes from old wounded parts of me that feel inadequate or not good enough. And every time I think we've gotten through that, most of that, I'm wrong. And there's more to go. So yeah, it like really, really frustrates me because I would love for that to be not a narrative that I keep holding on to. Especially when I'm doing something new for the first time, which never wrote a book before. So obviously it's the first time. But yeah, I really get into my head. I really struggle, and I really convince myself, unfortunately, quite frequently, that I'm like somehow failing at something that no one is telling me to do except for myself. And I do wonder if even this connection I've felt around like this storyline and the way that I'm going to tell my own story is very much connected to this concept I'm building on around being guided in different ways, which I very much believe I am. I believe we all are. And it's up to us just to like listen to those signs, synchronicities, messages, whatever. But I also think then I create the not realistic dynamic that is some person or being or thing that feels kind of parental is like not happy with me. I'm not doing a good enough job for whatever reason. So I think that's part of this challenge I'm overcoming or navigating around the concept of God. What God means to me and how I define God, because there's this idea around a Christianity version of God being this father. And there's disapproval around that. I'm not doing a good enough job to my heavenly father, which that's not my belief. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's true. I think that all comes from this patriarchal, you have to do these things in this way, otherwise you're bad, condemned, judged. I really don't believe that. I think we have the choice over and over and over and over, like every day, to change things around. It's such a controversial thing, so I don't want to get all into it, I don't think, on this conversation, because this one is supposed to be light and fun and about groceries and dinner. And here we are talking about God. I feel like it's so much more connected for me to think of God as this, like, punisher. He's this, like, judgment day God. And that was because of my religious upbringing. So there's this, like, idea that I'm not doing a good job. So, like, God, universe, source, whatever I want to call it, has gifted me with this story that I want to share. And then following that right away, there's this idea that I'm not doing a good enough job for God. God's already disappointed in me because I should be just sitting and writing diligently. Like, the fuck? Where is that coming from? Why is that like a thing? And what's so fascinating this week especially is that I've had post cacao ceremony. I've had 2 pop-ups of people in my life. One, not going to talk about because he and I have a conversation to have, and when that conversation happens, which I know it will, I can feel it, and it's honestly kind of frustrating me, and I'm trying to not be frustrated, but I am. So when we have that conversation, I will share more about my emotions around it, my feelings around it. But the other one I will talk about, because this has been a very big challenge for me, truthfully. I heard from my mom, and I haven't talked about this in this space. And again, who knows if I will publicly, but my mom and I have a quite challenging relationship overall. I love Betta so much. And I love my mom so much. My mom has a lot of her own growth to navigate. It's really disappointing sometimes when I see her through her actions move away from that responsibility. We all have a responsibility for our own growth and our own evolution and our own processes, and for reasons I can't ever seem to fully understand, my mom doesn't choose that path for herself. She is very connected to her religious beliefs, not mine. Maybe I should throw some bread in. Well, comfort food today, I'm telling you, I feel like I need it. I'm very emotional. I feel like I'm back in my van every time I light the stove. Yeah, but my mom has a different belief system than mine, and that's okay. Lots of people do. Ooh. Confirmation. It's okay. And it's my responsibility in the same way not to judge her for her beliefs. So as much as it's, I feel I struggle sometimes with a lot of feta. I'm gonna eat it all. But then that's me judging her. The same way I don't want to be judged. I have to work through that. It comes from my own wounding and my own traumas and my own desires of what I would choose in a relationship with my mom if it was just like solely up to me. But it's not. We're 2 different people, and she has her own desires. So she contacted me yesterday. She sent me a text. I don't know how I feel. Yesterday I felt pretty neutral to it. Today I feel pretty emotional about it, and it ebbs and flows, goes back and forth. Sometimes I feel one way, and then sometimes I feel the other. I should actually put a little salt in. This is my little Portuguese salt that I bought at Trader Joe's before I came here. And now every time I use it, it just like makes me so, it's almost gone, which is crazy. I mean, I could clearly buy Portuguese salt here in Portugal. This I bought myself, and then from Penny Lane, my coworker and friend bought me a Portuguese soap as part of my Christmas gift. And that's actually doing really well. I feel like I've got a whole lot more time with that. That salt, though, is almost gone. I really feel strongly that that was part of like my manifestation of coming here. So my mom and I don't have a great relationship. And I'm not blaming her for that. That's my responsibility too. But I'm at a place right now, currently, where I feel not inclined to even respond. It's sad to say that. And I think this conversation especially feels vulnerable. And I worry about talking about something like this in any sort of context. One of the things I've talked through with my own therapist and navigated a ton is she already has a strong frustration that I've shared about her in a way that doesn't feel safe. As much as I've tried to talk through that with her in ways that I think would be really mutually beneficial for both of us, that doesn't ever seem to happen. I've made a handful of suggestions on how we would heal that and improve that. The message I received from her yesterday was following a December to January to February 2-month gap, our last form of communication. I basically asked for her to consider my needs in the relationship and like how we could both possibly positively move forward, what would feel good for both of us. Myself included, because truthfully, I've really self-sacrificed in that dynamic, and I've been accused of talking about her and our relationship when I haven't in any public capacity. And so I feel this feeling of like, you know what? First of all, it's my own experience as well. And so why am I not, quote unquote, allowed as a 36-year-old woman to talk about something that's been so fucking challenging for me? There is something very interesting to me about anyone at any point who doesn't want to respect any of your own requests, any of the things that you've asked for to support your growth, and then also doesn't want anything being said or shared about that. That's something to me that's really eye-opening, because I kind of feel like there would be nothing to be said if this dynamic didn't exist. And actually beyond that, there would be only positive things to talk through and share. And I wish that was my experience, but it's not. It's very interesting to me when someone says like, don't do this or don't do that because of their own maybe insecurity, I guess, around talking about something that is so vulnerable. And I feel like, wouldn't it just be better for us to get to a place where we both share? It's safe to say like maybe something like, this was my experience, this was where I struggled. Now, because we've seen a therapist together, something I've suggested, or we've had these like deep conversations, introspective conversations where we're both able to say, I'm sorry, that's how my actions have made you feel. And moving forward, this is how I can respect your own boundaries and acknowledge your feelings. Mine are never honored in that dynamic, unfortunately. So I feel like I'm starting to let go of this maybe sense of obligation that I can't talk about this. I feel like it's wrong of me to talk about my own experience within our dynamic, because she's already blamed our relationship challenges on me embarrassing her or talking about this publicly when I haven't. So I hold that shame and I hold that guilt, even though what I've actually done is suppress this part of me that's been so challenging and really has felt so Um, How has it felt? It's interesting. This is like really my first time talking about this. And who knows, this should be the name of whatever the fuck this vlog is. Who knows if I'll ever share this, because every time I've recorded, I feel like I've said that. But yeah, I definitely do struggle with opening up about this stuff because it feels like I've already wronged her, when in actuality, I have been very much hurt by my own mother for my entire adult life. And I don't talk about that because cringe. And I just don't think that that's fair anymore. And I don't think that that actually honors my own experience. And I also don't think that that helps me step into my own version of motherhood in the way that I want to break the cycles that I know my mom has attempted to break. I know that there are things that I could never imagine navigating that she had to navigate. And at the same time, so have I. So have I. And it's not fair for me to have to hold those back in service of maintaining a relationship with her in any capacity, when I have made attempt after attempt after attempt after attempt to meet her, and it is never reciprocated. So, yeah, I got a text from my mom after I had asked back in December for us to really take a more intentional look at the dynamics that we share and work through them together if we want a relationship moving forward, which I do. I would love to have a healthy relationship with my mom. I don't have my dad, so my dad passed away. I think about this like this is just a message to my friends, so like anyone would know this, but you probably wouldn't know this if you're watching a YouTube about some random girl cooking dinner in Portugal. So my dad passed away 13 years ago almost. It'll be 13 years in July. And it's so challenging because a lot of times I feel like I've been without a parent in any capacity because my mom and her religious beliefs create a lot of separation. And I lost my dad when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, 24. Is that right? 24. Yeah, because I'll be 37. How did that happen? So crazy. So anyway, I think that's probably all I need to say around that. I did this wild cacao ceremony, and in the ceremony, my mom showed up in a version of her higher self, and she guided me through this experience of saying goodbye to all these people from my past. It was her and my brother. He would probably not want me to talk about him either. And again, it's so interesting. I do feel this, like, the people that treat you poorly and don't want to address their own behavior are the people that say, you need to be quiet. I'll never, like, name people's names. I'll never, like, you would have to be, like, part of my very close inner circle, which is so small now. I feel like even people who are friends won't know a lot of what I share in different dynamics because the way that I'm sharing moving forward is so different. When I'm in a relationship again at some point, that person will be very private. For me, I would be very hesitant to share how I share that relationship whenever that relationship starts. It will be close to the chest. It will not be something that's like all over social media for a million reasons, but one of them being I have done that so far so many times, and I do feel this heartbreak a lot when my bread. When a relationship ends, it's like I feel like I work up almost this picture perfect romantic relationship, and that's not how relationships work. And so the next time somebody will see someone's face on my profile, a romantic partner on my profile, it will be when we are engaged. And honestly, I feel like somebody might not like that. Somebody might feel their own feelings about that or insecure about that. And that's not my person. I will definitely allude to my relationship whenever I'm in one. Some people would really hate that, you know, and honestly, in some ways, versions of me would hate that too. Versions of me would be like, what do you mean you're not going to share me on your social? Even my ex rarely, if ever, shared posts of me. I think there were like 3 or something in 6 years. Good for him. But moving forward, I won't be publicly sharing things like that. And when I share, it will be because we're engaged, a level of commitment. And even then, I feel like, not because of the relationship even. It's because of everybody on social media. It's because of this concept. There are people that don't want to see you happy. It's just the truth. Wow, this is so much pasta. I probably actually won't be eating all that pasta. But you never know. There are people that actually don't hope for your happiness out there. For me, in my life, a lot of times that has been people who I have claimed as people I want to experience happiness and fulfillment and joy and wealth and success. That is not always reciprocated in the dynamics that I've chose. I'm going to be more careful about what I share. My close circle, they already know. They already know that people outside of that, why would they? Just squeaky, quiet, intentional. I think that really just creates more longevity to things. I know very clearly some people that I've known for quite some time that I'll never trust again, that I will never, ever divulge my own positive experiences or negative experiences, my strengths or my struggles, never again, because that trust has been broken. And I'm learning now to create protection for myself. And I never knew how to do that before, but now I do. So, yeah. The challenge with this little fridge is that a lot of times anything that you put too close to the freezer freezes. like in the fridge space, but it freezes because the freezer's so cold, which is great in some ways, I guess, but annoying in others. Okay, I think that's all. I think I've ranted enough. I'm gonna eat my pasta. I'm gonna go to my little workshop. I say little. Who knows? My last one changed my life, I'm pretty sure. So, little is a relative term. Should I do a little plating? I mean, again, this is so much food, but I also don't have Tupperware, so I have to just keep things in dishes and then cover them with another plate, which is great because there's no plastic, like hardly ever in my life. I think silicone is the closest, but there's hardly ever. Everything's in glass. Everything's ceramic. It's pretty nice, actually. Okay, I guess that's actually, well, no, that really is a lot of pasta. I said, that's not that much. Okay, tomato. Also a fuck ton of feta, but I love feta. I mean, I could very easily eat all this, actually. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like a bowl of pasta. I mean, it's a lot, but I can eat. Red. Yum. Hell yeah. Delish. I'm excited. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk about my crazy family dynamic.